Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Edge.
Here.
Vice Mayor Jordan. Here. Councilmember DeVries.
He's here. Danny. Go on to Freeman, maybe.
He's muted.
Go on to Freeman and then come back to DeVries. There he is.
Councilmember DeVries.
John Freeman, quit texting. Pay attention.
I am paying attention, Dan.
I'm guessing he's here.
Councilmember DeVries.
Want me to shut off my video? So I can
No, I'm just kidding.
text in private?
Gentlemen,
We're taking roll call, please. So, Councilman DeVries, are you here?
Am I supposed to, Leslie Jordan just texted me, am I supposed to stay here? Did we do roll call?
We are doing roll call. We're right in the middle. Your turn is up.
Come on, Leslie, I'm here.
Councilmember Freeman.
No. What happened?
Councilmember Freeman.
Can he not hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Flores.
Does he not?
he can't unmute himself.
Having technical difficulties, I believe he said here.
Okay, all right.
A quorum is present.
Okay, thank you. Now we go on to public comment. Any comment from the public that is not on our agenda, and you have 3 minutes. Do we have public comment?
I don't see any hands.
Okay.
I don't see any hands, Mayor.
Okay, all right. What was that? Was that somebody? No. Okay. So we'll go on to item 3, consent items. All matters listed under the consent agenda may be enacted by one motion, authorizing actions indicated for those items so designated. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless requested by a member of the City Council, a staff member, or a citizen. So,
I make a motion to accept all matters listed under the consent agenda and that they be enacted by one motion.
okay, we have a second by Flores? Okay.
Roll call vote. Councilmember DeVries.
Here.
We need your vote.
Councilman DeVries, we need your vote.
I said, vote on what? I said here, can you hear me?
We're voting on the consent calendar.
So the answer would be yes or no?
Oh, to the consent?
Yes.
Yes, by both yes.
Councilmember Flores.
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
Councilmember Jordan,
Yes.
Mayor Edge.
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Thank you. So now we go on to item 4, presentations, informational items, and reports. 4A, monthly financial statements.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. Our CPA, Wendy Cummings, has provided our monthly financial statements. There are no real surprises occurring this early in the fiscal year. You might notice that there is one large payment to Wells Fargo, which is our bond payment on our water and sewer system debt. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them there.
Are there any questions from the public? If not, we'll go on to our council. Councilman Flores, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions or comments.
Councilman Freeman? Any questions or comments?
No questions or comments.
Councilman DeVries?
Nothing, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Jordan, any questions or comments?
I do not, thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, then now we'll go on to our city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Pretty much your whole agenda is my city manager's report. Let me get over, I have a few slides that we can touch on, and they are redundant because we carry the COVID item and the water item later on in the agenda. So, all right. So basically, just a quick update for those who are unaware. The City Council met last week and selected a compliance project. I'm sorry. There we go. Okay. The City Council met on the 13th for pretty much one reason was to regionalize, to be in compliance with our administrative order on consent with the EPA. And we presented in a town hall meeting a week before that a selection of different compliance projects to help us become compliant with the EPA's National Pollution Discharge Elimination System permit. So those decisions to regionalize water, to explore further importing water from the West Hills Water District, and export our wastewater to the Hollister Regional Treatment Plant were communicated by resolution to the EPA. They received them, and they don't have any feedback for us yet, but they were present at the meeting on the 13th and very supportive of the actions the council was taking. So that was all good news and a milestone for the city to reach. There's been a lot of chatter on the social media regarding rate increases, water rate increases. And last time we did a rate study was 5 years ago, July, and we have not done a study. In fact, we're in the midst of doing a study now. So the water rates have not increased. They did not increase July 1. They are the same as they were in June. We're going to be looking at water rates as we look at our compliance projects and our investments and see how we can manage the two. So right now, I'm not proposing any rate increase. There may be one towards the middle of the year, towards January. So I'll report more on that, but I just wanted to make sure, based on what I was seeing on social media, that we set the record straight that we have not increased anyone's rates yet. Some of the park improvements are moving forward. We have a draft of the Luck Park Master Plan that our staff is reviewing. We have a selection of prefab modular bathrooms. They're much nicer than they were the last time the city bought them. And I think they're very close to, if not the same design and aesthetics as the Planning Commission recommended. Terrific savings to have the prefabricated Verde Park restrooms in place. And so we're moving forward with that. And when the council approves our capital improvement program, hopefully we'll be ready to make some decisions and take action. I saw a draft landscape plan for Franklin Park that incorporated the ideas from the neighborhood today. We shared that with the mayor, including our bocce ball court and some trees. And I look forward to bringing that forward back to the community to make sure that it meets with their standards. Rich Brown, our code enforcement officer, is proposed to be our public safety manager, and I just wanted to provide a quick example of some of the work he's doing in addition to code enforcement. In the past week, he's been working with the new postmaster, who has agreed, if the windmill will install cameras in front of the post office, to reopen back to the
Oh,
original hours.
good.
So that's a great improvement, and the cameras are being installed, and so that's just an example. He's also trying to negotiate a lease for the sheriff to have an office there. Do you have a question?
Cameras for what?
A camera in the hallway in front of the post office, so they can see people coming and going after, making the place more secure. And you can monitor those cameras on your phone, so you can look in and see. So it's
Does that camera give us access to the post office again?
that's the idea.
Thank you.
With that added piece of security. So it's just an example of working between the owner at the windmill and the tenant, how we can work to make the services return to normal for us at the post office.
Perfect.
Development status, a lot of new inquiry about development in the downtown. A roundabout for Meritage out at Malvin Union on First is at 90% completion drawings. They hope to break ground very soon. So we're working hard with neighbors to make sure that the right-of-way dedication and other things are in line. Getting the two coordinated has been a challenge, and I want to commend our city engineer, Julie Bazad, for her work on this project. We've come a long way in the last year. There's two projects on the agenda tonight that are going to help us improve the infrastructure related to our industrial zoning on the south side of town on San Juan Hollister Road. So as we move forward with new water and sewer out there, the owners of Coke Farm is one of them, would be able to move forward and develop their properties. So that's something to look forward to as far as development future. And I think we mentioned in the past our partnership with the Community Health Foundation and their efforts to build a new clinic, as well as the new residential community on the property along the Alameda that they recently closed escrow on. So that's not really new, it's just a quick update for you. Our community development, the Sphere of Influence Ad Hoc Committee met last night. It was a good 90-minute discussion of modifying our sphere of influence. If the mayor or Councilmember DeVries wish to say anything on that, it would be good to give an update. We also have Marty Brown working for us as a provisional employee, executing grants for the community development studies that we're engaged in regarding accessory dwelling units and affordable housing and our inclusionary housing ordinance. So, let's
Hey,
just-
Don?
Sure, Dan.
Don, can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't know what the connection is like for everyone else, but for me, your voice is going in and out, like I'm hearing about 30% of what you're saying.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I don't like talking with a mask on either. Is that better?
Can you hear
Is that
him better?
Is that better?
Yeah, much.
Because we can hear you really well.
Okay. I'm happy to breathe, whether no one...
That's all right, that's fine.
So, yeah, I was just talking about the ad hoc committee, and I don't know if the mayor or Councilmember DeVries...
I would like for you to give us an update, Councilman DeVries, on our meeting last night.
You would like me to do that, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Okay, I'd be happy to. So, our ad hoc committee, just by way of quick background, formed to create an urban growth boundary, which would be an amendment to the San Juan Bautista General Plan. Right after we formed, we found out that, oops, we don't have a sphere of influence that is duly recognized by San Diego County, so we thought that might be, or should be, the first step. So we have been meeting thereafter in order to determine the proper sphere of influence and, on the coattails of that, an urban growth boundary. A sphere of influence, basically, according to our general plan, says that these shall be the areas that the city considers to be potential for future growth and annexation. So when you're talking about where should the sphere of influence line be, it's something bigger than the city limit line, but not too big because you don't want to have the city grow in a crazy way. So last night we got together with our maps and looked at those different ideas that everyone had. I'd say that there was major consensus to keep the sphere of influence line tight and close to the existing city limit line. I don't know, Don and Mary, if you would agree with my assessment of the consensus, but I think that was the prevailing wind. Do you agree?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Did you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we agree, we both agree.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, I think the consensus was to keep the new sphere of influence line tight and close to the existing city limit line. In some instances, it may be on the city limit line. We don't know. But one of the things we determined is that we want to go through this process in a very, very thoughtful and a very methodical way. And we're going parcel by parcel by parcel, all the way around the city. As Don Reynolds said yesterday, all around the dial. You start at 12 o'clock and you go all the way around the whole city, and you just be very methodical and thoughtful about it. So to that end, we thought it would make a lot of sense for us to, since we've been reduced to, what's the color we're now? We're red now, Don, is that right?
We're in the red, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we're red.
So since we've been lowered to a red tier, there's an opportunity for this committee to all get together, which we're going to avail ourselves of, and get together at the library in 2 weeks. At that time, Don's going to have prepared for us a huge blown-up map of the city of San Juan Bautista, and then each committee member is going to be able to draw on the map and point out where they think the city might grow in the future. So it's a really, so that's the end of my report. But this is the editorial comment. It's a really hugely important conversation, because the conversation asks the question and tries to answer it: how big should San Juan get? How big should San Juan be? Where should it go? And in 2 weeks, we're going to get a big old map and some markers, and we're going to draw on it and try to answer those questions.
Thank you, Dan.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan.
Awesome.
That was
Good
great.
report.
Okay.
Okay, so now
Okay.
you keep,
So that's it for my manager's report.
it is?
Yeah.
Oh. Pages here.
Oh, yeah. Well, that includes the whole budget.
Okay.
We,
All right.
Oh, this is everything.
the hard copy of the slideshow is available if people would like, and it's also posted online with our agenda packet.
Okay, so now we go on to items 4C, reports from city council appointees to regional organizations and committees. Vice Mayor Jordan, would you like to go first?
I don't think we met. I don't believe that we've met between the last meeting and this meeting.
Okay, all right. So Councilman Flores, do you have a report?
Yes, I attended the League of Cities, and I was in like 4 or 5 workshops. All different avenues or different options that cities can use. So it gives you a lot of ideas, and that's about it. A lot of networking ideas.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Councilman Freeman. Do you have anything to add or report on?
Yes, 2 weeks ago we had an AM meeting,
AMBAG.
Yes.
and the major item on the AMBAG meeting was something called,
He's going in and out.
people. You're breaking up, John.
Yeah.
It uses the county.
What's going on with the sound?
He froze. He actually froze.
Oh, he froze?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear him?
No,
No.
what I'm trying to get at is if these numbers are wrong, money you're in line yet.
He's been talking all this time.
You're breaking up real bad, John.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think I'm back now. Anyway, the numbers for San Benito County, both Supermaster Botello and I really objected in the meeting to the numbers for San Benito County. They were very, very low. Example, the demographer was seeing a figure of 780 homes for San Bautista in T25. So right now, we already have 875 homes. So obviously that number is way off by a factor of about almost 20%. We are going to have a meeting with the city hall, discuss this inaccuracies, because I know for a fact that we have 757 housing units per the census count, and then in the past year we've added 118 housing units with Rancho Vista and Copperley. So simple math gives us 875. And this lady is projecting 780 in 2025. So that's way off. So we need to get our share of money, and we need to get those figures correct. So I'm going to attempt to do that on October 30th. And that's it for my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilman DeVries, did you have anything to add? Okay, if not, we'll go on to number 5, public hearing. 5A, consider approval of a first amendment to the franchise agreement with Recology San Benito County.
So I think Kathleen is here, and from Integrated Waste Management. Hi, Kathleen. How are you?
Hi, Doug. Very well.
I'll go through these slides, and Kathleen, when I'm done, you can edit for me. If you don't, okay. For the franchise agreement requirements, Recology submitted a rate adjustment of 4.5% for a July 1 increase. And due to the COVID-19 impacts, the 3 jurisdictions all voted to delay implementing that increase. And so we asked Recology to go back, and Kathleen's been overseeing this process for the county on our behalf, and she's done a great job. And they came back with options 1 and 2 in August and met with Ray Espinosa and Brett Miller and myself and Kathleen. And both options suggest, the first option suggested that we take the cost to Recology for delaying the increases and we pass it to the ratepayers at a later date. And second option was to decrease our franchise payments to make them whole. So the cities and county all rejected those 2 proposals, and they came back with proposal 3 and 4. And they came back in September, or August 28th, I guess we chose. I have the September date. And we considered options 3 and 4. So they have a franchise agreement. They estimate a loss now between July and January of $252,000. And so they feel that they need to be made whole for that. And the cities have made it clear that we need to find a creative way to do that. Option 3 contemplated the notion of extending the 2-year term, and that would give them more time to recover their losses over a longer period of time. There was pros and cons, and the group talked about it. Option 4 talked about...
Sorry, excuse me, Don, is that the right slide?
No, well, I'm getting there.
I can't read it.
This is option 1 and 2 that the cities rejected, and then extending the delay until July 1st, 2020. And option 3 was to extend the agreement for a 2-year term, and option 4 was to offer credit from losses against future liquidated damages. So the franchise agreement has in it a stipulation that if Rockology doesn't make certain performance measures, that they have to pay liquidated damages. And so what they're offering in option 4, and this is very small and hard to read, and I apologize for that, but I put it up there pretty much for myself, but Kathleen can help us understand option 4. Kathleen, you want to just expand on option 4 for me and explain for the council what all this stuff says?
Absolutely, thank you. Thanks for that introduction, and good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. Good to be with you. So yes, it's exactly as Don had stated. The regional agency members had met on September 9th after being directed by your council and the other regional agency members. And the consensus was, and unanimous between the 3 regional agency members, was to choose option 4, which was the establishment of a balancing account, as Don had stated, which would be establishing a balancing account in the amount of $251,914. That is the amount that would be due to Recology as a result of not getting the rate increase per their franchise agreement terms. That rate increase was to go effective July 1st of 2020. So there was consensus by the regional agency members, and as Don stated, at meetings in his attendance, Brett Millers, Ray Espinoza, and Harry Magro-Janis, then RMA director, that the consensus was establishing the balancing account for the primary reason to be responsive to our ratepayers, our residents, as well as our businesses, to defer a rate increase due to all the many impacts of of COVID and the impacts that this would have. So Recology was responsive, provided these options, and the reason number 4 was selected primarily was, again, because it deferred the rates to January 1st, 2021, as opposed to July 1st, 2020. There would be no immediate rate impact to the jurisdictions. So establishing of this balancing account, because it wasn't foreseen in the franchise agreement that was established and approved by all the franchise agreement members, required an amendment to the franchise agreement. And that is the action item before your city council today, which is to recommend the establishment of this balancing account to allow this deferral, the 6-month deferral, and to allow basically credit from, as Don had stated, the performance disincentives, the liquidated damages that Recology would typically pay to the regional agency members, and this would in turn pay down through the term of the agreement, which is through 2028, that to $251,914. Phil Couchet, the general manager of Recology, is also on the line, so we're happy to answer any questions. I wanted to just summarize, if I could. So the action before you again is to authorize the city manager to execute the amendment to establish the franchise agreement, the balancing agreement, in the franchise agreement for this amendment. It would again allow us to defer the rates increase from July 1st of 2020 to January 1st of 2021. I'm sure I've forgotten something, so I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Oh, and I'm sorry, yes, I did. The Board of Supervisors authorized approval of this amendment on October 6th, and last night the City Council of Hollister also approved the establishment of this balancing account and approved authorization of this amendment to the franchise agreement. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Just one real quick question.
Hello?
We need.
Madam Mayor,
Go ahead.
Councilman Freeman, could you wait?
I just wanted to make sure we got one more point, John. Hang on just a sec. Kathleen, we're coming back in November, right? And for the purpose of executing this, or we've done the Prop 218 process, so we're coming back in the...
The purpose of tonight's decision is to approve the amendment to the franchise agreement. That would be the action before the city council tonight. We would be coming back to the council at your discretion in November or December, your choice, for the city council to actually approve the new rates that will go effective January 1st of 2021.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. I knew there was a two-step process. Okay, John, I'm sorry.
Okay, now go ahead. Councilman Freeman, you had a comment?
Yeah, well, actually Kathleen answered the first part of my question, which was, what did the city of Hollister do last night, and what did the board of supervisors do? So she answered that question already. But I do have a comment. If we're going to pay a little more, and I understand contracts, I understand franchise agreements, and I understand that built into the contract. And I also understand that the other bidders 3 years ago also had a similar price increase built into their contract after the first year. So it's like no matter who we choose, we would, or
Come on. Like, seriously?
Who is that?
Jeannie Olson.
Okay, can you please refrain until it's your turn? Thank you.
Can we mute her?
Yeah, Liz can.
Okay, so go ahead and finish. Councilman Freeman, your comment? You're frozen.
Yeah, it looks like it's frozen.
Okay. All right, so let's go on to Councilman Flores. Do you have any question or comment? Okay, he's shaking his head no.
No questions or comments.
Okay, thank you. Councilman DeVries, do you have any questions or comment?
Nothing from me, Mayor, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Jordan, do you have a question?
Nothing from me, thank you.
Okay, and I don't have any questions. Are there any questions or comments from the public? Okay. All right, so it looks like we don't have any questions or comments from the public, so we'll go on to approving, or I need a motion to consider approval of the franchise agreement. So do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Okay. We have a motion for the approval of the First Amendment to the franchise agreement with Ecology San Benito County. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Roll call vote. Councilmember DeVries,
Yes.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
He's still frozen. Oh, okay.
is that a yes?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
It was a yes.
It's kind of a yep.
Councilmember Jordan,
Yes.
Mayor Edge.
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Thank you. Okay, so now we go on to action items, number 6.
Thank you.
6A.
Sure. No, I see them. I see Sue especially. Hi, Sue.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so item 6A, consider an agreement with CMAP and the cities of Gilroy and Hollister for public education and government services.
Sue, can you help us with the history on this? You know it's better than anyone.
Oh, she's muted.
Okay, let me ask her to unmute.
Oh, she just realized it. Okay.
There we
she
go.
is. Okay.
In 2001, the city said no one on the set. He said, create an organization and put it into a through like this, you know, that's part of the, to provide a couple of
Can't hear.
Oh, my gosh. Sue?
negotiate the franchise with that validated it is now chartered. Over the period of that, since that time, then this CMAP to provide public.
So Sue? Oh, Lord. We're having a real hard time here understanding you. You're breaking up. Can you hear us? We're having a hard time hearing you. It's
the connection.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know.
I wouldn't.
Paul's waving. Paul De Silva is waving.
Who's
Yeah.
called a
I
silver?
can't hear.
Who's with CMAP?
Yes. Somebody.
Madam Mayor, council members, City Manager Reynolds, if I may, I know Sue's having a little bit of trouble with her audio.
Sorry, Sue.
Can you hear me? I'm
Yes.
Paul De Silva, the IT Director for the
Okay.
City of Hollister and also the Board Chair for CMAP.
Thank you,
Okay,
Paul.
go-
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, and if somebody can communicate with Sue to let her
Sorry,
know.
Sue, you sound like you're in a metal can or something.
knows.
So,
Okay,
Paul,
yeah,
Paul, Dan, we can hear you about 100 times better than we can hear Sue.
yeah.
Okay.
So go
I'm
ahead.
in my office here in Hollister, and so hopefully we're good for the next few minutes. Dan, I recognize you from being on the board a few years ago.
I was on the CMAP board for a number of years, a position that I held very proudly. I believe in the organization with all my heart.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So the agreement that we put together for you, basically the representatives of all three cities, San Juan, Hollister, and Gilroy, together with the board from CMAP, Juan and Sue Busky, who did the original agreement about 20 years ago that created CMAP. I think she's still.
Yeah, I was going to say mute her.
And we found that over the years that it basically time to kind of go back through the agreement and kind of update it. I know that for the city of Hollister, and in particular Gilroy, we have our meetings covered by CMAP. But there was things we wanted to be in the agreement to have CMAP. Sue, I think you're still. Lost my train of thought here, but basically, there's some equipment coverages that we'd like to be seen in this agreement. So we kind of added that in there. Just kind of throwing it out.
I don't know if people should.
Sue, you're better off muted. Just
I think it would help if everybody mutes and what's his name, John?
I can mute everyone.
Okay, yeah.
okay.
Oh, what is causing that? No, mute her.
Mute it, Sue. You have to mute.
Damn.
Just mute.
Why does she keep coming
Can
off
we
mute?
mute her?
I've
Yeah,
muted her 20
yeah.
times.
Okay, I think she's good.
She is muted.
Basically, the agreement was put together, and I appreciate the help of City Manager Reynolds and Deputy City Clerk Gates for San Juan Bautista, along with the city staff, Gilroy, and myself, Representative Hollister, to update this agreement and also have some things covered in the agreement for all three cities, which includes putting some 10% of the PEG funds aside that go directly to CMAP for equipment and capital purchases. So each city would be able to have a fund to pull from to upgrade equipment in the council chambers. There's always kind of a contentious thing with getting some of that money for to be able to upgrade some of the equipment. And I know there in San Juan Bautista, the CMAP person actually rolls out a camera out of a bag out of the closet there. You have cables running around in, underneath the dais, and you know, our hope is to clean a lot of that up and put some cameras up on the wall and kind of help the city staff you know, get that more situated to be more professional in covering the meetings. Also, the city of Gilroy in particular, they haven't had their meetings covered by CMAP. They were doing it with their own staff. That staff is retired, and now the new staff is reaching out to have a lot more help. So that part of the agreement covers the Gilroy meetings. And then Hollister, you know, we continue getting our meetings covered, and you know, we want to see some money put aside for equipment to be upgraded. And last night we had the City Council of Hollister review and approve this agreement, and also the City of Gilroy reviewed the agreement last night and also approved. So now the agreement's presented for your consideration, and be happy to answer any questions at this
Okay,
point.
all right. Well, thank you, Paul. Vice Mayor Jordan, do you have any questions or comments?
I do not. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for all you have to go through.
Yeah. Councilman Flores, do you have any comment or questions? Okay, he says no, shaking his head. Councilman DeVries, do you have any comments or questions?
Yes, just a quick one there. Hey, Paul, what happened to Morgan Hill? Why did Morgan Hill drop out?
Morgan Hill was city number 4 back in the early 2000s, and they decided to just do their own thing. So they were never really a part of the finalized agreement, the original agreement.
Right.
And I know over the last few years there was an opportunity that they reached out to have CMAP partner with them in covering, you know, some of their channels and some of their meetings. And again, they kind of ended up wanting to do their own thing.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it can't happen in the future. It's just it's been a couple times it's kind of gotten close and not happened.
Okay, so now they're on the outside, and it's us and Hollister and Gilroy. That's the coalition.
Yes, it's San Juan, Hollister, and Gilroy, the original 3 cities.
Right.
We also have the San Benito County being covered by CMAP, but through a separate agreement.
Okay.
Oh, I see. That's interesting. And does CMAP still make most of its money from sports? Well, not in COVID, but
A lot of things changed in COVID. They do,
Right.
you know, besides covering the meetings, we're doing youth classes with different schools and different school districts in Gilroy and Hollister and San Juan Elementary and High School. And San Benito High School, they're covering football, and Gilroy High School, they're covering football over the years. Now, some of the things that we're looking at, we have a new executive director, Janine Olson, who's stepping in from, you know, for Becca, the last executive director, and
That's
Thank you.
great. Keep
All right.
up the good work.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Paul.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
okay. So Councilman Freeman, do you have any questions or comments? He's sitting in his chair.
That's his background, I think.
Freeze, sorry.
No,
You're not frozen.
you're okay. I'm just waiting for an answer from Councilman Freeman. So, okay, so it doesn't look like he's going to respond, and I don't have, oh, okay. So go ahead.
I really applaud the efforts to put aside 10% for new equipment. Obviously, our equipment is quite antiquated. We need some work to install those cameras. I think we can help out with our public works department. You have to help, I think, and we can get it going, I think. And so I'm all in favor of this. And thank you, Mr.
De Silva.
Mr. De Silva for helping out.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you. All right, so do we have any questions or comments from the public?
Or Cesar, did he comment?
No, he said no. He shook his head no. Why?
Okay. I'm not seeing any, Mayor.
Okay, all right. So this is an action item, so we need to consider an action. If somebody would like to make a motion. Cesar. Okay, so Cesar made,
I'll second it.
okay.
Roll call vote. Councilmember DeVries,
Oops, sorry, yes.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
Councilmember Jordan,
Yes.
Mayor Edge.
Yes,
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
thank you. Okay, now we go on to item 6B, approve a change
Thank you.
order.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Paul.
I'm just.
Bye. Approve a change order to the Don Chapin Construction Incorporated to install an 8-inch sanitary sewer line on Old San Juan Hollister Road and Coke Water Service.
Thank you, Mayor. If I may ask, if we consider 6B together with 6E. 6E lower in the agenda. They're both related to two things. They're both related to our agreement and commitment to Coke Farms. We traded well 3 for well 6, and we have to make well 3 a usable source of water for irrigating his farms. So we have to do some plumbing work out there. And then when we and also running the sewer line and water line down San Juan Road are also important because we've committed to allowing him some access to those utilities when he develops his property. And we also have an obligation, I think, to Midnight Express, our neighbor to the west, should they want to develop to have this infrastructure in place. But most importantly, when we installed well 5, we noticed we needed a iron and manganese treatment plant filtration system, and it has to flush its media on a regular basis, and it causes a lot of wastewater to come out at once, and it overwhelms that lift station. In fact, one of the neighbors has submitted a claim for damages for flooding. So we not only have to get our names off of we have to get the Coke Farms name off of the lift station's PG&E meter, but we have to get our name on it. And at the same time, I'll let Julie describe the design of the project. We incorporated emergency power and larger pumps. Julie, would you like to talk about these two projects for us and the bidding and so forth?
Sure.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Edge, members of the council, Julie Bessot, city engineer. As Don mentioned, we, as a result of placing well number 6 and the need to have a sanitary sewer line on Old San Juan Hollister Road, we realized that we need to move on in this project as quick as possible. And at the same time, Chapin Company in the city were working on Third Street project. And as the council was aware, we went out to a very competitive bid process when we selected Don Chapin for the Third Street project. We sent out the plans to plan rooms, and as a result, we received 5 bids, which Don Chapin was the lowest bidder, and the council on April 21st awarded the contract to Don Chapin to complete the reconstruction of Third Street project. That project is substantially complete right now, and we are very pleased with the results of the project. The project came in within budget and on time. So we decided to go ahead and ask Don Chapin to provide us with a proposal to also help us to install the sanitary sewer line in Old San Juan Hollister Road. And at the same time, we realized that the city is obligated to install a water service for Coke Farm, part of the agreement that we signed with them back in 2018. And that water service included backflow devices and also flow meters. So staff could not complete the installation of this improvement. So we asked Don Chapin to also give us a price for that improvement as well. We went through an extensive negotiation with them, and we finally were able to agree on a price to complete both of the tasks, installing the 8-inch sanitary sewer line as well as completing the Coke water service. And we finally agreed on the dollar amount of $177,000. Staff felt that number was very competitive and very reasonable. So we are here tonight asking the council to approve a change order to Don Chapin Company in the amount of $177,000. And since this is a separate and a brand new scope of work, we're also asking the council to approve 10% contingency in the amount of $17,700 for a total of $194,700 to Don Chapin, that they can go ahead and install the improvements for the basically to upgrade the lift station and also to upgrade the sanitary sewer. The funding sources for these projects are coming from Sewer Capital Improvement Fund 48, and the portion of the water is also funded by the Water Fund 46, which is a development impact fees. And this current schedule for the project, based on the conversation that we had with the contractor, is as soon as the council approved the change order, we will process the agreement with Don Chapin. They are ready to start the work. The goal was also to get this work done before any rainy season, and that was another reason that we did not want to go out to bid, because if we would have gone out to bid, we would have lost 2-3 months, and then we would be opening bid in the middle of winter time. So the schedule is to get the project started as soon as possible, and they think that it's going to take them probably about 3 to 4 weeks, so we should be completed by November of this year. That concludes my report. For this staff report, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, thank you, Julie. So, Councilman DeVries, do you have any questions or comments?
Did you say my name, Mary?
Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Yes.
Pardon me?
Do you have any questions or comments?
I do. I've got a couple, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Julie. Very good report. A couple questions. First, why do this as a change to the Third Street project as
Thank you very
opposed
much
to
for that.
and Deborah Mull, I see, is sitting right there. Deborah, would you prefer this be a change to the Third Street contract or a whole separate contract? It's not a change to the Third Street project. This is a different scope, a whole different contract. Why'd you groan, John?
Just,
Oh,
just the complexity of it all.
Just,
Well, change orders are addenda, or they're changes to an existing contract for work, and the Third Street project was the Third Street project. Now we're talking about something completely different. I'm just curious as to why it's a change to the Third Street project as opposed to a whole separate contract. But if the answer is, which I assume it is, it's just in the interest of time, expediency, it's easier, then I'm fine with that. I understand that.
I had the same question and the same
I'm waiting for Deborah to respond so I could add more comments.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I was muted. So so it is a change order to a contract. And I'm gonna let Julie explain her rationale for adding it to the change order. I think she has a better understanding of it than I do.
Sure. Don Chapin, one of the main portion of their work on Third Street was installing the sanitary sewer line. So you are correct that this is not in the same location, but it is part of the same scope of work. That's how we looked at it, and we figured out that we could ask them because they have a lot of experience installing sanitary sewer. That was number one reason. Number two reason was that we have well number 5 is online right now, and the filtration system, as Dawn mentioned, is discharging into the lift station, and we needed the sanitary sewer line as soon as possible. The third reason was that we do have potential developer in those areas, and we do not have any sanitary sewer line within that segment. So it's really important to get this line installed as quick as possible. And most importantly is that we did have a sewer backup in one of the residents or the businesses along sanitary and on the old San Juan Hollister Road. So it was almost like a very urgent and emergency to get this line installed as quick as possible. We had the design completed, but by the time that we packaged the project, sent it out to bid, we would have lost the entire, fall time, and then we would be opening bids in the middle of winter, and that would have delayed the project for another 6 months. So it was really important to get this process, done quick. So we took advantage of the fact that Don Chapin was in town and asked them to give us a price, and the price that they gave us was very competitive and reasonable. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, it does.
As I suggested, I think in my question, that the reason why it's not a separate contract is just expediency and time, and that makes sense to me. But it is, make no mistake, it's a different scope, it's a different contract, it's something altogether different.
Yeah.
Agreed.
What is the total price for the new Chapin contract?
It's,
Really?
The change order?
Okay, change order, but yeah.
Yeah, it's $177,000.
but
So
an
what are the
additional
splits? You said it's for a
17,000.
sanitary line and for coke.
That's
What
it.
are the splits between the two?
Right, okay, so it's $177,000, and we're also asking the council to approve a 10% contingency for a total of $194,700. Out of that $194,700, $162,250 is the sanitary sewer portion, which includes also the contingency, and the remaining, which is $32,450, is coming from the Water Fund 46 to pay for the Coke water service.
So 160 for sanitary sewer line and 32 for coke?
Correct, 162 plus and another 32 plus for water.
So let me ask the city manager, so with the 32 extra now for coke, what does that bring us up to as a total spend on coke well?
In rough figures, we paid $250 flat out when we signed the agreement. The work for the treatment plant and well 6 and well 5 is close to $750,000. And I'll just tell you, I'll tell you in context, I complained about a year ago to the Drinking Water Division, and Laura Lyons shared with me that that's about right. It takes about a year, and it costs about $750,000. So I'm just happy to be towards the end of this road.
Yeah.
And And I'm also happy that we can provide services and start to develop those industrial areas. That's what excites me the most.
Definitely.
Okay,
Thank you, that's all I have.
okay, thank you, Dan. Councilman Freeman, did you have a question, comment?
No, I kind of like the idea of getting it done quicker. I think it's best for the city. Sanitary sewer is important. You know, obviously, we're going to have a claim for damages for the people who had backups, and that could happen again, and it could happen again, and it happen and again. So, if it's within our city limits, we need to have the sanitary sewer installed and fully functional.
Okay.
I'd just like to remind everybody that 2 years ago, this council, or actually a different council, passed an ordinance that gave the city manager authority for utility projects up to $100,000 without going to a formal RFP. For this very reason, because formal RFPs take a long time, they cost the city a lot of money, and they cost each individual bidder a considerable amount of money to place the bid. So this amount is over that amount, but that is why we passed, the reason why we passed that regulation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Councilman Flores, did I already ask you? I'm sorry, did I ask you if you had a question or comment? No?
No comments, no
Okay,
questions.
all right. Vice Mayor Jordan, did I ask you?
No, I had the same comment that Dan had and the same concern that it seems to be a separate contract, but in terms of expediency and getting it done quickly, they are in town.
Right,
I'm okay with it.
yeah, okay. And I had the same concern and question, and Julie answered the question. So, so now I need a motion to approve the change order to Don Chapin Construction, and then at the same time, the electrical, or so?
Oh, no, we'll take a separate vote on that.
Okay, all
yeah.
right.
But
All
I
right,
wanted
so-
Julie to get her projects done so she could sign up.
Exactly, poor
Yeah.
Julie. Okay, so I need a motion.
So I'll make a motion to approve a change order to the John Chapin Construction, Inc. to install an 8-inch sanitary sewer line in Old San Juan Hollister Road and the Coke Water Service for $194,700.
And I need a second.
Got a second.
Okay, good, thank you. So,
Is that including, excuse me, does that include E?
no, we're going to do that separate.
No,
Right.
there was public concern or questions, I suppose,
Yeah, did we go out to public?
that seemed to be asked and answered. From Jackie Morris, it needs to be a separate contract indeed. It is different project and different location, correct? Why not draft the legal document or contract? How long does paperwork of this nature take? Would it really delay the start of the work? And I think Julie answered
Answered the question, yeah.
all of those questions.
Also, it's not a separate project. Don Chapin is, putting in sewer lines, not very far away from this. It's the same project. That's why we're doing a change order. It's not a separate project. So I just want to clarify that.
Thank you,
If it was
Deb.
a separate project, then it would be illegal for us to do this as a change order.
Okay, thank you, Deborah.
This is Jackie Marcellus. I just wanted to ask, I know you read my comments, thank you, Councilwoman Leslie. I'm just going to object. Did this item require a public commentary, or you're just going to read our comments after the vote?
Go ahead and ask your comment, or state your comment.
But you've already voted, so is this now a moot subject to have public comment? You've already voted.
We haven't voted completely.
I'll
It
take that
came
first
in the
and second.
middle. We
First and
needed
second?
A roll call vote, so make your comment.
I'm sorry, you're very muted, Mayor Edge, and I understood that you were making a vote. So I just want to clarify, I can barely understand you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So Jackie, it is public comment right now. Make your comment.
Okay, well,
The mayor's been saying.
I disagree with you, City Attorney Mall. It's not, yes, it's the same contractor, Chapin, They are doing similar type work, but it's nowhere near the location that you just stated. It's miles away. It's on Old San Juan Hollister Road. And I feel legally as a resident that we should have an addendum. You know, you're changing the work order. It just doesn't sound right to me, or even legal, because yes, they're doing the same type of work, but it's not the same project. The project is 3rd Street is 3rd Street. This has to do with connecting our sewer treatment services to Hollister along our highway.
No, it doesn't.
Totally different location, slightly different project, same work, apples and apples, but not really. So I don't understand what would take so long to draft up legal paperwork to that. I'm not asking for another RFP to be done. It seems like this is a very competent contractor. He's doing excellent work on 3rd Street. It's really nice. So what is the disagreement to not just draft this extra paperwork?
So you would need another RFP. If what you're saying is true and you believe it's another project, then it would need another RFP and another go out to bid. And, you know, San Juan is very small, so it seems like this area is far away from 3rd Street. But if you were in San Francisco or something, you know, if you would have multiple locations, you know, miles and miles apart, you know, on a separate bid. So it just maybe seems that way because San Juan is small, and I know Julie has had a lot more experience with larger jurisdictions, but, you know, in my experience, you know, you would have a contract going for sewer services or sidewalk repair going to different places miles apart.
Yeah.
So, and
Okay, thank you for the
Jackie,
explanation. So what would be the actual paperwork entailed?
We did
expedite
write up
this
paperwork.
since
There is a change order
similar,
attached.
Same contractor. What would it look like, and would it cost anything extra?
So Jackie, we did write up a change order. It's a legal document. It's 3 or 4 pages, and
I'm
it's.
sorry, you're muffled.
We did write up a change order.
It's in the packet.
Yeah, we did write up the legal documents as you're suggesting. That's in the packet.
Additional cost, basically, for this.
No.
so, and also,
If I may answer the question, no, since this is a change order to an existing agreement, we agreed on the price, and there will not be any additional cost, there's not gonna be any waiting period, they could go ahead and start the work as early as next week.
and just to
But I
clarify,
think Jackie's question
Jackie,
is there an additional charge on top of the 3rd Street project? Answer, yes, there is, about $170,000, most of which goes towards the sanitary line, and about $35,000 of which goes towards the Coke water thing.
Right.
So,
Right.
a change order, what is a change order? A change order is an addendum to an existing contract.
Right.
Therefore becomes a part of the existing contract. The change order is not standalone, it's like an attachment to an existing contract. So this addendum, this change order, is going to be a contract in and of itself that the city's chosen to attach to the 3rd Street contract in order to get this work done quickly.
right,
And Jackie, I hear what you're saying, but and that's why I brought the issue up. But I think that in the interest of time and expediency and efficiency, it's going to be fine to just attach this thing to the existing 3rd Street contract and just get it done. I don't think that there's a net detriment to the city at all. That's my view.
Thank you for the explanation, everybody. Thank you.
okay, thank you for your comment. Okay,
You
so
like, go for the vote, yeah.
now we go on to
Roll call vote.
vote, correct?
Well, let me review that. The maker of the motion is Councilmember Jordan, and it was seconded.
If somebody's talking right now, we can't hear it even a little bit out here.
Or do you have a microphone?
Do you have your mic?
There's no microphone over here.
Can't hear a word.
Okay, hold
So
on.
Councilmember Jordan is the one that made the motion, and Councilmember Flores seconded it.
Can't hear a word from them at all.
We can hear nothing.
Mute those
Yeah,
people.
I can't hear anything
Mute,
also. I hear you
can you
loud and
mute
clear.
them?
I hear you, Charlie.
So I can give you a mic.
Yes,
Yeah.
I hear Charlie, but I don't hear anything out of the city hall.
Okay, all right,
Here's the chief.
hold on, everybody. We're trying to take care of it.
Okay.
We still can't hear you, Madam Mayor.
We're trying to take care of it, Councilman.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Understand that.
So to review what has happened so far is Councilmember Jordan made a motion.
The joys of our new world.
Could you
That's right.
please, could you guys please mute yourselves?
Hey, John, don't you wish you were the guy that invented Zoom
I
about,
can't-
I don't
okay.
know, 9 months ago?
Miss Councilman DeVries and
He's raking in the dough like.
John, please. Thank you.
All set.
Now, who's that?
He unmuted himself.
Okay, you need to stay muted, please, people.
Can you hear me?
Just go ahead.
So to review, Councilmember Jordan made a motion to approve this resolution for the city manager to execute change order number 7 with the Don Chapin Company Incorporated to install an 8-inch sanitary sewer line in San Juan Hollister Road and Coke Water Service. It was seconded by Councilmember Flores, and we're now ready to take a roll call vote. Councilmember DeVries,
Yes.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
Councilmember Jordan,
Yes.
Mayor Edge.
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Thank you. Okay, so now we go on to
E.
item E. Because we're jumping from B to E, right?
Right, so Julie can
Okay,
report
so
out.
Julie, can you unmute yourself and,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Yes, okay. Yes, this item before you is the award of a contract to Central Electric for San Juan Hollister Road lift station. As John mentioned earlier in the previous staff report, when we placed well number 6 online, there was definitely a need to have the, as we just mentioned, the sanitary sewer installed. And the discharge from the sanitary sewer and the both well number 5 and 6 will end up at lift station that used to call Diaz lift station. And as a result of this additional flow, we need to upsize the lift station as soon as possible. And we started this process with PG&E because the panel that we have right now, we need to apply for a brand new panel, electrical panel. And we started this process with PG&E back in 2019. We started an application with PG&E last year. But unfortunately, as everybody knows, dealing with PG&E, it takes a long time. While we were waiting for PG&E, we got the design completed, and we went ahead and sent the project. We called 3 electrical companies and send out a request for proposal and asked them for the proposal. Those electrical companies were Collins Electric Company, Central Electric Company, and JM Electric Company. 3 very experienced and reputable electrical companies in the area. The city received 2 bids, one from Collins, I can't pronounce that, Collins Electrical Company in the amount of $82,600, and the second bids that we received was from Central Electric Company in the amount of $56,850. So the low bidder is Central Electric Company, which they have a very extensive experience doing this type of a work. So staff is asking the council to recommend accepting the bid received from Central Electric in the amount of $56,850 and also approving a 10% contingency in the amount of $56,80 for a total of $62,530. The contract, again, this is a sewer project, will be funded by Sewer Capital Improvement Fund 48, and we will be adding later on, we will be replacing the pump to add a new service, then the next phase we will be replacing the new pump that there's a mention under the fiscal impact for additional of $20,000. The schedule for this work again is after approval by the council, we will go ahead and send the contract out, and as soon as the contract is executed, the contract can start as early as October, and they will be completed probably by end of November, but then we have to go ahead and wait for PG&E to come in and set their poles and give us the service. So depends on PG&E, if they can come in on time and complete their work, we should be completed with this work by end of January of 2021. This concludes my report. I'll be more than happy to answer any question you may have.
Thank you, Julie. So, Councilman DeVries, do you have any questions or comments on this?
No questions or comments. Good work, Julie.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Flores, questions or comments?
No question or comments. Thank you,
Okay.
Julie.
Councilman Freeman?
Yes, I have a question. Is there an increase in amps that is being required by the new panel? And thank you for the good work.
Sure, no, thank you. Yes. The current amp, the control panel is 100 amp, and we're going to 200 amps because we know that after we're done with this work, we will be replacing the two new, the two pumps that we have to a bigger pump, so it requires more amperage. So we are upsizing our panel from 100 amp to 200 amps.
Thank you.
Okay. Vice Mayor Jordan, do you have any questions or
I
comments?
do not. Thank you, Julie.
Okay. Thank you very
Thank you,
much,
Mayor.
Julie. Good job.
Thank you.
So now I need a motion to award.
Public comment?
Oh, public comment. Thank you so much for reminding me. Public comment.
Okay, I don't see any hands.
Okay. So we don't have any public comments, so we'll go on to motion. So I need a motion to award the contract to Central Electric to install the new panel on San Juan Hollister Lift Station.
Move.
Thank you, Dan.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Roll call vote. Councilmember DeVries,
Yes.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
Councilmember Jordan,
Yes.
Mayor Edge.
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Okay. All right. So now we go on to item 6D.
C.
Can-
Need to go back to C.
C. 6C.
C?
C, Senor.
Oh, Lord.
We'll get through it.
Approve a memorandum of understanding with San Benito County for CARES Act funding in the amount of $23,333 to support small and local businesses.
Thank you, Mayor. The report before you tonight is an expansion of a program that the county started. The state notified the county that it was going to receive approximately $6 million in CARES Act funding when the federal government failed to adopt a second stimulus package that would help smaller local governments like ourselves and like San Benito County and Hollister. To that end, the city did receive $50,000 just last week from CARES Act money to help pay for its $185,000 expenses. So we're hoping for more still. But nonetheless, the county received the $6 million with the rule that they get it spent by December 30th. So when they started their $1 million business grant program, I believe it was $1.5 million, sorry, the applications came in. There were more than 200 of them, and 20 or so of our local businesses applied. And our community liaison, Liz Turner, worked tirelessly to review all those applications and rank them, and was part of a regional team to determine who should get funding and how much. Pleased to see that every business in San Juan Bautista that applied received funds except one, and also that those funds did become available finally last week. So the CARES Act money the city received is also part of the CARES Act money that our local businesses just received. And I think as we worked with Ray Espinoza and the CAO and I'm sorry, that's a diesel truck sitting outside our window by the fire station. Pardon me for the background noise. I hope you can hear me. So I'm going to raise my voice. The county needed to use more money quickly, and so they wanted to just augment their existing program. And thank you. And give what money they could to Hollister and San Juan Bautista to reiterate the same criteria that they use, the same equal and fair criteria. And we would even go back and use the same applications and see who applied for what and make a new determination. And if we had, for example, 20 business owners that have applied for these funds in the past and maybe a few new applications that we could solicit, we could go through what has been increased from $23,000 to $40,000 in the $1,000 to $2,000 loans. And the hopes was that would help our businesses get ready for the winter weather in the form of paying for heaters or paying for temporary covers and tarps. Our business forum has discussed this program, very excited to see the influx of another $43,000 in grant money come to them to be divided equally and fairly with the same criteria that was used in the past program. So what this memorandum of understanding does, it says, is commits the city to following the rules of the CARE Act, which are fairly straightforward. The goal is to get the money out the door, and we can certainly help them do that. So Liz and I will work on this, and if approved tonight, these monies could be forthcoming very soon. We would have a short application process and hopefully get these loans out towards the end of November. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. This is a gift coming to our city, and this is a tool we need to implement it. So with that, Mayor, I'm done.
Okay, thank you so much. Councilman Flores, do you have any questions or comment? He's shaking his head no. Councilman DeVries, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I just want to say formally for the record that I have no objection to federal money coming into this town.
Okay, good. So Councilman Freeman, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I don't have any questions, but I would like to agree with Councilman DeVries' comment. In fact, I enjoy federal money coming into this town.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Jordan, do you have any questions or comments?
I do not, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, good. Do we have any questions or comments from the public?
Congrats to business and staff. You want to read that, Leslie?
You sure?
What was that?
Jackie Morris says congrats to the businesses and staff securing the funds.
Okay, anything else? Okay, all right. So we will go on, and we need a motion on item C.
I'll make a motion for resolution 2020-56 for the city council to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the city San Benito County and the city of Hollister to receive and disperse an allocation of CARES Act funding to support small and local businesses.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Cesar. All right.
Roll call vote. Councilmember DeVries?
Oh, I'm
Councilmember
sorry, what was that? I
DeVries?
just ran to the bathroom. I'm sorry. I admit.
Thank you, Dan.
I was caught. What's the question?
So
We're voting. We're
On what?
on item C, approve a memorandum of understanding with San Benito County for CARES Act funding in the amount of $23,333 to support small and local businesses.
Oh, yeah, I already stated clearly my lack of an objection to getting free money. So yes, my vote is yes.
Thank you.
Councilmember Flores?
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman?
Yes,
Councilmember Jordan?
Yes.
Mayor Edge?
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. All right, so now we go on to item 6D. Consider adoption of a joint powers agreement and bylaws of California Intergovernmental Risk Authority, which will permit the merger of PARSAC and REMIF.
The Redwood Empire Municipal Insurance Fund,
Okay,
not to be confused with REMIF. Liz, we want to make sure everyone can hear. Trish, we want to make sure everyone can hear. Do you want me just to present a summary of the report and then you're here if we have questions? This is basically the merger of two joint powers insurance authorities. We've been a member of PARSAC for a number of years. This would make a total of 50 different cities coming together to share their insurance liability pool, which is the most economical way to buy liability and other insurance. There is a chart in the back that describes the different policies that are covered, and it's full coverage for our city, and the merger with the Redwood Empire is not going to diminish that in any way. If anything, the merger gives us more power and more leverage to buy cheaper and more effective insurance. And there's also a list of cities who apply. They're mostly smaller cities in our area, because when the small cities work together, we get the job done. So with that, if anyone has any technical questions about this matter, it's all about approving the merger of these two agencies, and we continue to be represented on it and have a say and have enjoyed these services much to our benefit. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions with Trish.
so Vice Mayor Jordan, do you have any questions?
I do not have any questions, thank you.
Okay,
It
thank
looks
you.
like we get more coverage
Yeah,
with
Yeah.
right.
With the merger, right.
the merger.
Councilman Flores, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions or comments.
Okay. Councilman Freeman, any questions or
Yes,
comments?
on page 64, I noticed that there's a list of services offered, and that the Redwood Empire one offers medical benefits for both current employees and retirees, while the PARSAC does not. Does that mean the merger of the two would PARSAC then begin to offer medical benefits, and would that be of help to our city?
There's a microphone down there. Page 3 of 4?
What page did you say?
It's basically
the one
page
with the
4 of the
dot.
report.
It's that one, I believe.
So I think I saw in the staff report that they said that they would be willing to consider adding that for the city, but it wasn't necessarily for sure that they would add it at this time. And Chris might know more, but that was what I read in the staff report.
But Deb, in the side-by-side comparison of the two with certain things checked and other things were not checked, there was definitely a check mark next to health benefits for city employees.
Right.
There
Okay.
it is.
Right, somewhere at the end of this, I read that they would consider adding it, but it wasn't for certain.
I don't know.
Well, is there someone here that can clarify?
Yes, sir, we're going to allow, Dan, we're going to allow.
Yeah, it's the very last sentence of the staff report.
Okay, so Trish is here to answer questions. So I forget where we were. I think we were with
The medical coverage, right.
So currently, we are getting our medical coverage through Aqua, which is a water association. If indeed they add this, it'd be worthwhile to do a comparison of rates and see if that would be beneficial for the city.
So, okay, thank you.
We would have a choice, right? It would broaden our selection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so who was answering?
Dan.
Was it John?
John had
Okay,
that question.
All right, so Dan, Councilman DeVries, do you have any questions,
Here it is.
comments?
Well, yeah, one question is the status of that health coverage as being an add-on to this merger. The other question I had just more generally is, does the city have someone that's akin to a risk manager? Someone that oversees all the coverages that are necessary for the city and the coverages that should be in play?
Yes,
that question's mainly to Deb Mall.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
no.
the PARSEC has provided us with a risk manager as a part of their services. His name is Ken Onk. And I don't know if he'll be
Okay.
continuing to do that or not with this merger.
But also,
And
Trish,
has Ken on?
Trish is here
I'm
to
sorry?
answer your question.
Councilmember
I can't
DeFreeze,
hear.
Councilmember DeFreeze, at this point, I oversee, Trish oversees the risk management for the city.
I can't hear. If someone's speaking.
Maybe you can
especially
speak
to
into
me,
here.
I can't hear a word
Okay.
of what
Then
they're saying.
speak into here.
Councilmember DeFreeze, this is Trish. And
Hi, Trish.
can you hear me? Perfect.
I can, yes, much better.
All right,
Thank you.
so at this point, I have been, that's one of the hats I wear, is overseeing the risk management for the city. Parsec covers our liability insurance, and then, as I said, Aqua, which is Anthem, we receive Anthem Blue Cross and other policies for our health insurance for the employees.
Okay.
And then Dan,
So Trish, don't go anywhere. Trish. So since you're kind of a de facto risk manager for the city of San Juan Bautista, when you look at this merger and the changes in coverages, are there any changes in the coverages or changes in anything that are notable to you one way or the other? Like this is better for the city or worse for the city, or do you have an opinion on that? Or is the merger just like a net neutral to the city?
I think that the city will benefit from this. There'll be more services that they'll be bringing to us.
And it'll benefit the city in what way? What do you see being better now after the merger?
there are
More services, you said?
there are a list of FAQs in the staff report, and I'll read from the first page of the FAQs. The financial impact due to a series of adverse loss over years will be diminished because of our larger size. Our larger membership base will also result in more predictable funding and reserving forecasts with more data available, which reduces the likelihood of future assessments. Finally, it will ultimately result in lower operating costs. Consolidating operations will eliminate redundancies and achieve economies of scale. So there are a number of efficiencies lined up in the FAQs that are provided in the back of the staff report. But
And you have a copy of that.
I just want to make sure, Don, that we're not dropping any coverages that we need or lessening them. Or
Great
anything
question.
Like that. It sounds like it's a good move.
great questions. I was a risk manager myself, so I support Trish in our efforts.
Madam Mayor, if I make one more comment?
Hold on. I just wanted to let Dan know that in your packet, if you look at it, it answers a lot of the questions that you're asking. Okay, Councilman Freeman?
Yes, on page 64 of the Parsec report or whatever it is, it does say that they will be giving the offer for healthcare services. So, like Trish just said, I think it would be to our advantage to do a comparison.
it's 3 of
and see how
4.
the rates work
It's
out.
page 3 of 4.
And coverages work
And
out,
that's the
too.
page I don't have. Okay, thank
can
you.
have mine.
So do we have any public comment? Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, we're good. All right,
Hear you.
all right.
Madam Mayor, we cannot hear you.
Okay, all right, I'm back. We're having to move this speaker around. So do we have any public comment? Public comment?
I don't see any.
Okay, so if not, we'll entertain a motion to consider the adoption of the joint powers agreement and bylaws.
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second it.
All right, thank you.
Roll call vote, Councilmember DeVries,
Yes.
Councilmember Flores, Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
There was some period,
Councilmember Jordan,
Yes.
but they're actually speaking out of here.
Mayor Edge.
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so now we go on to item 6F, the fiscal year 2020-2021 budget. That is our city manager.
Thank you, Trish, for helping with that. Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Mayor. This is the introduction of the budget, and it's also a request to approve a resolution that further extends it so that the public has a chance to review the budget. And I just want to say, putting the budget together had three major issues that I've never confronted before. And I'll have to admit, the first was the learning curve it took for me to understand the way the city of San Juan Bautista puts its budget together. It's not like any other municipality I've ever worked for. Nonetheless, with the support of our CPA, Wendy Cummings, and her grateful patience, we were able to muddle through several confusing things that I needed to learn. Anyway, in addition, of course, we had the COVID catastrophe, which took up 90% of our day for a good 3 or 4 months, right in the heart of our budget session. And then thirdly, we had all these moving parts and CARES Act and funding and better to have a budget or not have a budget. But what I want to say is that back in January, we started on the right steps, and because we were starting on the right path, we were able to resume that journey. And that's why we're here tonight with a draft budget for you. The City Council approved the audit in December, and then the mid-year budget adjustments in January, and that included a subscription to something called ClearGov software, which I'm pleasure to share with you tonight. This is the first time the CPA and the city manager have worked together on the budget and presented together. We both agree that it's the best that we could present to our City Council. And is as true, as accurate as we could make it. Having said that, we've been able to use our traditional QuickBooks accounting system, more common to nonprofits and small private organizations, and integrate it with the ClearGov software. And that means that compared to last year, when the city actually typed all of the budget into WordPerfect, causing a separation between the data in QuickBooks and WordPerfect. It's just a cleaner, more effective way to do it so that especially people like a contract service provider, CPA, could have faith and confidence in the budget that the City Council adopts. It's just a critical component to the budget's integrity. So with that, we could not integrate the capital improvements into the budget. That was this is a beta version of the software, so we're like the guinea pigs. That was the third challenge. But wait until you see it. I just want to touch on a few significant points. Tonight is just an introduction, and we're going to give the community time to review it and consider it. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail tonight. Just going to share it with you, and then at your leisure you can take a look at it. It's a web-based version of the software intended for transparency, intended to increase the community's knowledge and understanding of our budget. And some of the major changes are some personnel recommendations that the city manager is putting forward. And just a quick history, when we adopted our budget for July 1, 2019, we had 13.5 full-time equivalent positions, including a deputy city manager position. And as the year rolled along, we made a few changes. And then, of course, in April 2020, we made some drastic changes. And we froze a full-time position. We laid off a full-time employee. We reduced some of the part-time work down to 9 staff. So in April, we were really, and at that time also, we had contractors. 4-Leaf laid off the permit technician. We were just at bare bones in April, and we've been rebounding since then. So in the organization we have now, it's pretty much described below, and that's what I'm recommending, that we move forward as we are now. And it is, in essence, adding back 3.7 of those positions. So the total number of full-time positions are actually less than we approved last year, but is an effective lean team that we've put together, starting with Liz Turner, our economic development project coordinator. I've created 2 new job descriptions for project coordinator so that as we bring on staff, we can use their skills in a wide variety of ways. So rather than having a lead library technician part-time, we can have a project coordinator working 30 hours for us. They can do QuickBooks, they can monitor the social media, they can update the website, and by the way, manage the library that's just now reopening. So that's one of the 0.75% full-time positions. The second being what was a code enforcement officer that we hired in the fall. Code enforcement officers generally make about $35 an hour, and we have the fortunate privilege of working with a retired deputy sheriff who is accustomed to working at $50 an hour. So we started considering what else this individual could bring to our organization. And so what I'm offering as a recommendation is someone who works as 20% code enforcement officer and then 10% as a public safety manager. So I'm recommending a new title of public safety manager for that position, but the same salary. It's just an adjustment that fits it into our classification plan better. But there are numerous examples of how the retired deputy sheriff is working in a community-oriented policing fashion to act as a liaison between the sheriff, our private security team, and our community. I'm not recommending any changes, just status quo for private security, and for the sheriff is still in the middle of their contract. But it's really hope, and I've received a proposal from our public safety manager of a way to get another dedicated deputy for our community rather than having deputies rotating in and out randomly. So we would return to that community-based policing effort. Returning the halftime maintenance worker on weekends, especially to help during the parklets and help keep the restrooms clean when the community is open and viable. We have more people in our town, as we know, Saturday and Sunday than we do the rest of the week. So this is added help to help us with coverage through the weekend. And then bringing back Delia at 5 to 8 hours, maybe 9 hours a week to support Rochelle as she tries to keep the library afloat. And I agree with Rochelle, this would allow her to take a vacation once in a while. So this is the way we're functioning pretty much now, and I needed to formalize it. I needed to put it in front of the council. So I am, as a way of putting the budget together for you. And this is no decisions tonight. We would recruit for these positions, the full-time positions, and see how it goes. We'll bring back a job description for you in November so that you can consider it. And this is a chart that's hard to read, but I'll just walk you through real quick. This is our personnel allocations, and these are the positions that we're asking that would be new. And it shows how, for example, in the city manager's department, there was only 15 FTEs committed to it. And by adding the economic development position at 100%, it increases the city manager's budget. But that's because we're taking on the economic development commitment here in this department rather than somewhere else. If the economy recovers and our sales tax recover, we need to rebuild our community development department. We need to come back with a deputy city manager, as the previous city manager recommended, and look at someone who can give better support for our planning commission and our long-term planning efforts. I think the work of the ad hoc committee with the sphere of influence is just the tip of the iceberg. There's just a lot of work to be done along that basis to bring us up to current standards in community development. So maybe July 1, 2021, we'll be able to afford a deputy city manager position and rebuild our community development. But for now, this is a very austere budget. We're looking at a decline in our sales tax revenue. And so that's the way I've presented the budget here. And these hard copies are available online and in your packet. So if you want to study our different departments down the left and our different positions across the top, you can see how it's spread. Most of our full-time positions are dedicated to water and sewer and parks and grounds and streets. That's where most of our part-time salaries are spent, and that's not changing. So that's the way it is. So I wanted to take you here. This is the table of contents for our new budget, and these are hard to read. There's an introduction. There's a budget orientation. And then all of our funds are defined in these levels, and then below that are all of our departments. And I can go here, and I can show you, I hope. Now that should take me to the internet, but I don't know if it's going to in this setting. let's see, if I hit the escape. Okay, hold on. Let me get to the internet real quick by coming back over here. Bear with me. I want to reduce it. Don't want to stop the Zoom meeting. I want to get down here to PowerPoint, and then I want to move this back over here. There we go. Make that bigger, and then click on that, and just do a control click, and that should here it comes. Okay, so thank you for your patience. 1, 2. There it is. Okay. Where's my cursor? I don't see it.
It is not on.
There it is.
I'm
sorry,
trying to
you're
get it
sharing.
over here.
Oh.
I'm just having a hard time seeing it on the wall.
It's not on Zoom yet.
Okay. There it is. Yep. Share.
You can do it. There it is.
There it is.
It's all blue.
Okay. There it is. Okay.
Oh, we went back.
There you go. Okay.
We went back to the PowerPoint.
Oh, you did?
Oh, you can't see this?
No. We see that right now.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry.
It did for a second.
Oh, this was my big deal. I'm dropping the ball here. Sorry, you guys.
Go back to share screen again, but then
I don't know how that came down. Shoot. Control link. Okay.
So is it, no, they don't have it yet.
Share screen. Oh, there we go.
Okay, now.
yes.
Yep.
I just need to be able to grab it. There we go. Huh. Okay, thank you for
Nope.
your patience.
It went away again.
If you keep it on the computer,
Okay,
we can all see it.
so you can see it now?
Zoom,
No.
Here it
yes.
comes.
Zoom can see it. Thanks, John. Zoom can see it,
Yeah?
but CMAP cannot.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I don't know. You want to do that?
I don't know if you can zoom in on this.
So the link that I clicked on, so people understand, is a link that's on our website now and allows the whole community to view our budget, just as I'm showing it to you here. And the introduction to the budget is my transmittal letter to the city, and it's the same staff report that's in your packet Friday that's before you in hard copy. So I'm not going to scroll through the introduction, but just let you know that this is the way our budget starts. The summary, COVID-19, operational budget, and like that. And then the second tab is our strategic plan, if you remember in February. And it takes a while to load, I'm sorry. But this is our strategic plan. Create, promote, and nurture partnerships with our community. Preserve, protect, promote our community assets, economic vitality, etc. This is our strategic plan. And then in April, I provided a budget to you that described our priorities and issues based on the surveys that we did. And at the bottom of this description of our priorities, you'll find those actual survey results online. So they're all in one place. So that's what the budget is doing now, is it's capturing all this work that we've done for the past 6 months and puts it in one place for you. And then the personnel changes that I described are here as well. And here's the 13.5 positions in 2019 and the 12.7 positions adding back, and the history through the COVID changes and so forth. So it's a really great tool and really helps the community. The community can access this right now and share it with me if you can't see it on CMAP. Now, we have several funds. We have 10 funds. And of course, the general fund is the most important. But we also have the Community Development Fund, the Gas Tax Fund. We have a COPS funding, a grant that helps fund our sheriff's contract, parking and restroom, the assessment districts, our water operating fund, our sewer operating fund, these enterprise funds. And so these are all available for you to see, and it takes a minute to come up. This is a description of the general fund, and then it'll load for you both revenues and expenses in summary related to the general fund. So the city of San Juan Bautista is projecting at $1.8 million of revenue in 2021, which represents a 49.4% decrease over the prior year. Budget expenditures are projected to decrease as well by 6.8% for an anticipated to be less than the revenue. So this is a chart that's showing us here in the far right side how the revenues will be barely above the expenses. So what I'm bringing to you is a balanced budget. There's about a $130,000 cushion between our revenues, even though they're significantly lower. They're significantly lower going from last year to this year. The actual, this dark blue line, they're right in line with it. So that's one of the challenges this year is how to bring forward a budget that suits our means. And then these are the different types of general fund revenues that we have. The sales taxes down here is the third rank on this at $330,000. It's generally $500,000 a year. So that's the one that took the big hit. And then the transit occupancy tax is down here, and that's down a good 50% as well. And then we have the actual expenditures. So what do we spend most of our general fund on? Like any city, we spend most of it on our public safety. So this is our 2 contracts with Hollister and the sheriff, about $600,000, about 13% of our overall expenditures. So just to be fair, water and sewer are higher expenditures, but not of the general fund. So the public safety is actually third to water and sewer, but in the general fund, public safety is number 1, our number 1 expense. Questions?
I got a comment, Don. This is cool. Who does all the data entry on this? Did you do that?
No, I have to give credit to Wendy. And here's Wendy Cummings has been working tirelessly with ClearGov to put this together for you guys. And you can go into any of these and go into the detail of these departments, or better yet, over here under departments, we have City Council, which I think we should look at the City Council's budget, right? The City Council took a hit. That's a really cool picture of my son on his mountain bike. We'll just see if it would work. City Council takes a 7% hit, lower than last year, because the travel and mileage wasn't needed. Yes.
Wait a minute. The city council's not going to get paid this year?
No.
No, sorry, you guys. I'm happy to meet with you one-on-one about that. Yeah, get a grant somewhere. And so each department, you can go in and you can look at the data, utilities, employee salaries and wages, and then over in this right-hand column are the percent changes. So the biggest percent change is in the travel and mileage because we're not paying for hotels and lodging. Yeah. But you can go through all of the city departments. They're all listed there for you. We did not implement the capital improvements. We just didn't have time to figure that out this year. So I'm offering you that wonderful spreadsheet that you got. And debt service, we haven't been using that either. But this is in way of introduction to a really cool budget that we do have hard copies available. We made a hard copy for all the council members. And I think the mayor and vice mayor have picked theirs up today. So I'm kind of old-fashioned that way. I like my Post-it notes. But this is to help anyone who's interested in the health of our city from anywhere in the world to go on and see. And it's just a really great tool and a really great way to present our whole budget. So I wanted to share that with you. Thank you for your patience as I brought that up. That's
It's an amazing
That's
tool.
phenomenal. And the person who's done the most heavy lifting on the actual data entry and creation of this stuff, Don, is what's her name? Wendy Cummings?
Wendy Cummings.
Wendy Cummings, who's on the line.
This is Wendy Cumming, I'm your CPA, and, Don, do you mind?
Please,
No,
please,
Go ahead.
please.
What was really cool is when working with ClearGov, they were able to upload our QuickBooks file and history reports, and then create all the different departments for us. We do interface with them on FY20 adjustments so they can update our records here on ClearGov. Dawn and I walked through every single line item of this budget, talked about it, analyzed it, reallocated as we saw necessary, to come up with a budget that we felt made sense given this dynamic time. The challenge that we did face though is because it is a beta version, we had to create these reports that you see in front of you, and there's so much to choose from that we had to kind of work through. How many graphs do we want to throw at you guys?
All
How
of
much
them.
detail do you need to see? But I want to say, there was an investment on the city's, behalf to have this here for future years, getting it set up, trying to get it set up right. You might see some stuff in the history, if you look back, say, why are these numbers different? Largely because they be due to reallocations. I would encourage this council and the community to start with fund summaries, and in the fund summaries, you'll have all of our major funds. And then when you move to departments, you'll get all the general fund individual departments and all the expenditures by those departments. Don's showing you here a link that you can click on for the spreadsheet breakdown to get some history.
This is
And then in the departments as well is the community development departments. And then going forward into next year, our hopes is to use the capital improvements modules to have them, they're working on this interface with our budgets. So we are building capital improvement projects through these modules, and they've received our feedback that we like it to populate our budgets as well. So they're not there yet, and we decided it was best to move forward, and Don has a spreadsheet. But again, just walk through each of the fund summaries and each of the departments, and we welcome your feedback.
Thank
Well,
you.
here's my feedback right now, Wendy. You and Don collaborating in order to create this thing is awesome. And I think a lot of people would agree with me right now that this is really impressive. It's beautiful. I love the transparency. I love the accessibility to this information. You guys have really done something impressive here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So, was that your comment?
Just following up on what Dan just.
Dan, was that your comment?
No, you're on.
Oh, good.
So,
Just following up on what Dan said, basically I completely agree.
Is he?
And I'm, thank you for uploading that huge file to ClearGov. Whatever this service costs, I think it's well worth it in terms of transparency to the community. And I know that there's been some frustrations with putting together budgets because past city managers did it differently. One person used WordPerfect, one person used QuickBooks, one person used Excel, and so you had a mishmash of formats, let's say, and hopefully we can overcome that now and move forward with a much better process that's very transparent to both us and the public. Thank you.
thank you, John.
As your CPA, I'm so thrilled to have this platform to standardize this budget process for years to come, I hope.
Yes.
Same here.
As long as we're here, yes, you will. Councilman.
Why would we deviate for something like this when you
Right.
ever?
So, Councilman Flores.
It turns out to be too beta. But I think we've made the investment. They gave us a great discount, acknowledging that we were one of the first of the 20 cities to utilize their program.
And in the process, we've given them tremendous feedback.
Nice.
So their developers can go and make change moving into this next year. And
Well,
so,
in light of our cooperation and everything that you have provided to them, I think we should get it free for the next one.
I concur.
They did give it a good try, and they gave us a discount, and then they bundled our services for this next year, and they said they were grandfathering us in on our premiums, so.
Very
we got a
cool.
little something.
Very
Good
cool.
for you. Good. As long as you take the swipe, that's good.
Thank you, Wendy. Councilman Flores, do you have a comment or question?
Don?
Yeah, no, she's asking, I'm fine,
asking-
I've said enough.
I'm asking the councilman, and two have already commented. I'm asking Councilman
Cannot hear
Flores.
you.
We can't hear you, Madam Mayor.
God's sake.
I don't know.
Councilman Flores, do you have any comments or questions?
No comments or questions. Good
Okay,
job.
all right, good. All right, so Vice Mayor Jordan.
I thought you were talking about fun tables, not fund. I think they're fun.
We're all here, Caesar. City Hall's having a problem tonight, Caesar.
Thank you,
All
Don.
right.
This is an amazing piece of work, an amazing piece
Thank
of
you.
work.
I don't know why.
Thank you.
Hurry up and get the broadband connected.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
If you guys can stop
So
having your own
now,
little
okay,
conversations.
can they be muted?
I have.
So now we are going to go on, and we have to consider the resolution 2020 to
And-
extend the adoption
And,
of the budget.
and one more ask from the city council is, we want to have a town hall meeting just about the budget, say in 10
Yes.
days or so, right?
Thank
All right,
you, yes.
okay.
Okay,
All
so
right.
we'll pick a date if it's not a
Okay.
Tuesday, and
So-
we'll do that.
So I almost
Madam Mayor?
forgot, hold on, I almost forgot, I need to ask if there's any public comment. Does anybody from the comment have,
There-
the public have a comment? Hold
There-
on, Dan.
Thank you, Leslie. There are a few chat comments.
Please sit by, please sit by. Jackie Morris, so ClearGov is a free platform or program?
No, it's about $10,000 a year. But as Wendy said, we got it at a discount because we're learning from each other as we develop the program.
I think it's well worth it.
Yeah, me too. Dave Medeiros says, transparency indeed. Jackie Morris says, easy to read. This is on the city's website, question mark. Thank you. Great deal then. Thank you, great deal for the $10,000. And this is on the city's website, question mark.
Yes, that link is available to everyone. It was posted on the website tonight.
There's a link posted on the website.
Yes. And we saved a bunch of trees, let me tell you.
Oh, nice. Okay.
There are no further questions or
All right.
comments.
So then now we go on to the resolution. So we,
No, remember me?
oh, yes. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes. So I had some comments on the overall budget framework of the city right now, Don, and these are things that I have brought up to you in the past, and you have told me in response, you know what, at the time we do the budget, that's the perfect time for us to have this discussion. And I realize that we're not having that discussion now. As I understand it, we're kicking that to November, is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
With the,
So therefore, maybe these can be best seen as requests
You bet.
or previews of questions and issues that I would be interested in November,
okay,
so that you can kind of have them in your mind. And the overall thing I will say is that I've heard a lot about new positions being added to the city, personnel and new departments and new things, and then also some layoffs as well. I'm wondering whether or not, Don, there might be an opportunity for you to create an org chart for the city that shows city manager at the top, and then underneath you, the departments, department heads, or agencies underneath you, public works, and so forth. You don't necessarily have to spell them out by name, by individual's name, but just what is the structure of the city? Because, for example, Rich Brown, code enforcement. Well, when John Freeman and I were elected to the city council, we didn't have code enforcement. That's a brand new thing. And if that's a department or an entity or a slot on an org chart, I think that the council needs to understand that, and I think the community needs to understand that. And not just understand it in terms of organizational structure, but also understand it from a budgetary standpoint. So if we are going to have something on the org chart entitled code enforcement, then and what amount are we allocating budget-wise towards that department? Public Works is a little easier, etc. So I've got these names written on my little notepad here. I've got, and I don't know where they fit in on an org chart. I've got Rochelle, Rich, Liz, Marty, all wonderful people, but are they in departments in a city? And I know we're not San Jose. I understand that. We're not even Salinas. We're not even Hollister. But I think we would do ourselves a favor to have everything kind of figured out in an org chart way as to what is our organizational structure of this city, who is working in those positions, and how much money are we allocating towards each one of those boxes on the chart.
So Council Member, page 11 is the first shot at an organizational chart in the budget, and we're going to make that better. Trish is helping me with the org chart. And then it fits into page 15, personnel changes, where there is a spreadsheet that shows where each of the new positions is highlighted and what department they're allocated to. I can add a financial impact to that to show the total cost of salaries dedicated to each department. So we're well on our way to achieving what you had. Other budgets that you've approved have not had those two components, and this one already has a head start on that.
See, that's the beauty of this budget. It's all there for us to see. And if you go online, look it up, you can find it.
No, but Mary, you and Don both say that. It sounds like presumptively as if I had not read all of that and I have. I'm telling you that it's not clear to me.
Okay.
Okay. Understand. I understand.
I don't think it's clear to the public.
Okay.
And for example, I want to understand the difference in the job description between Marty Brown and Liz Turner. I want to understand exactly what Rich Brown's job description is, where he fits into the city. And I think that a lot of this stuff gets blurred, this organizational structure, and I think that we need clear definitions of who is doing what and what their expectations are of them as far as a job description matter is concerned. And I think we also need to therefore budget accordingly to what each department, or not department because we're so small, but what each box has.
Agreed. And I owe you that. I owe you job descriptions for these new positions, and I promise to bring them back to you in November, and then we'll fit them in the chart. And I totally agree with you, and I understand.
I agree also.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page.
The town hall meeting November what?
I don't know.
Oh,
We're not-
2
we're not-
weeks-ish. Is that November?
No, we're going to,
Does that hit November?
The 17th, so
The 17th.
so maybe the 10th. I don't know.
Okay,
No,
okay.
wait a minute.
This is Yolanda. Is it still up for public discussion or is it not?
Sure.
yeah, go ahead.
I too agree with, I wasn't listening, but I agree with what he said, that we need to know if they're overlapping, and should we not open it to the public so other people can also have the chance to get these jobs, or are these people just locked in? Do we need, hours? I'm on board with what he says. I don't know where's this money coming from? Where's this money coming from?
We're growing trees in the back orchard.
So,
I think you are, because I see, you probably are. Can I have some of that tree?
The money tree.
Okay.
I'm just saying, because we're not getting the taxes, and here, you said it's gonna take us 5 years, and not only you, other cities, and here you wanna employ more people, I get that. And if we need them, fine, but we really need to fine tune what their job description are. And do we need them?
Right. So he's going to, he has, our city manager has promised he's going to have a description, and he's going to go present us with what Councilman DeVries requested. So, and then too, if you go online and look at the budget, it'll be really helpful.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I heard what Dan DeRee said. Thank you, Dan, for mentioning that. But is he gonna open it up to the public, or is he just gonna put these people in it?
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Or I don't know.
No.
I just wanna know.
What, yes, that was mentioned. You might have been late or something, but he did mention it's going to be put out there.
There'll be a meeting,
There
yeah.
will be
At Town Hall.
option for other people to apply for these positions.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I came in late. I just got off of work. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay, Yolanda.
I just want to be clear on that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan, for that. You did that very well. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. And if I can just reiterate, so therefore, to the speaker right now, I think you can look forward to that November meeting as being a time when we kind of do a
Absolutely.
state of the city address. The city manager can do a state of the city. Here's the people we have working for the city. Here is what they do. Here is how much we pay them. And we can kind of take a look at that collectively as the community and ask ourselves, are we getting it right?
Yeah.
Are we covering all the bases? Or is there overlap? Are we paying too much or too little? Maybe
Yes.
we have to reallocate some resources in order to accomplish something different. So I think that's all going to happen in this November meeting. I'm hopeful for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think you're on point, Dan. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. So,
I'm done.
that was public comment. Do we have any other comments?
Hang on. No?
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right, so if we don't, we're going to go on. We need to consider the resolution
Thank you.
2020 XX to extend adoption of the fiscal year 2020-2021
Jackie Lopez
municipal
has-
budget to November 17th, 2020.
Jackie Lopez has a question, Mayor.
Oh, she does?
So moved.
Oh, wait, hold on. We've got public comment. Sorry. She has a question?
She raised her hand.
Jackie, is your hand raised or,
Hi,
sorry.
Madam Mayor, my
Yes.
comments or public comments are in this thread in the chat.
Okay,
I
all right.
didn't really-
Okay,
Thank you,
cool.
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And I think we covered them. Easy to read. This is on the city's website. Question mark. Thank you. Great deal then. That was the $10,000. Good point, Dan DeVries. Yes, the community does need to know all of what you just stated. Also, can the public have job descriptions available for viewing on the city's website? This would be very helpful. This is pretty standard to have job descriptions posted on city websites and an org chart. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we answered all those questions already. We touched on all of
Yep,
that.
they're coming, they're coming.
So, okay, so now we go on to the motion again.
Sorry, I make a motion for a continuation of the fiscal year 2021 budget until November 17th, 2020.
Okay,
Madam Mayor, I'd like to second that motion.
okay, seconded by Councilman DeVries. Okay,
Roll call vote, Councilmember DeVries,
Yes.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes?
Councilmember Jordan,
Yes.
Mayor Edge.
Yes.
All members of the council being present, the motion as stated by the maker passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. All right, so now we go on to item 7, discussion items. We need a discussion on COVID-19 update.
Thank you, Mayor. The county's successfully moved to the red level last Tuesday. And as this statistical diagram shows from today, we're actually functioning at an orange level now, but we have to stay at that red level for 3 weeks until we can move down to the orange level. But the really good news is 1.9% positivity rate is incredible progress. We're even lower than the state's 3.3% now. So it's really, I'm optimistic. Hopefully we can hold this pattern and keep our prayers in the game for everyone's health and safety being strong moving forward. We had some enforcement concerns expressed over the weekend. We were having a busy weekend. We need to work with some of our food and beverage establishments to make sure that they're helping us enforce our mask and our distancing laws. It's interesting when you have everyone out in public, everyone can see you. So under the red, 25% can open up indoors, but it's that time of year, football and other things that make the restaurants and bars popular places. So again, we're reaching out to the ABC. The best thing we can do is threaten a liquor license if we have to. So we are looking into tighter enforcement. We're also looking into revising our design guidelines, and I forgot to put that bullet on here. Liz shared with me today a draft of design guidelines that take into consideration health and safety issues, the use of fire extinguishers, the use of heaters on the wooden platforms. Second tour of the parklets in less than a week occurred today with the fire marshal pointing out ways that we can improve and make things safer. So these guidelines will come to the Planning Commission on the 10th of November, and that'll be an opportunity for everyone to weigh in on what they think the design guidelines need to do. We had a parklet go up with colors that were brighter than the building, et cetera, and there was a lot of question and chatter about that today. And if necessary, they could actually change the color of the paint on their building if they went to the HRB and they got the approval for a major design change. That's not a big deal. They could be processed on the 10th as well. So we're flexible. We're not trying to prevent people from being in business, but we have to maintain our historical stature. We have to maintain our safety and the safety of others. So pardon us, that's what government does. So I did mention already the status of the business grants, that they were received last week and that we have more rolling out towards the end of November. So with that, that's pretty much my COVID report. I'm happy to take notes on anything or any concerns that people have.
Does anybody have a question, comment? Council?
Keep those numbers going down.
I know. Councilman Freeman, do you have anything to say?
No comment.
Thank you. Councilman Flores?
No comment.
Councilman DeVries?
Yeah, Don, just mainly because I'm right now looking at Abbey Park. Literally, I'm sitting on my porch doing this Zoom call, and I'm looking at Abbey Park. When can we open that thing? I understand blocking off playground equipment because your little kids touching it and so forth, but why can't people go into Abbey Park and play baseball or football or let the dogs run around or whatever?
You can't let your dogs
Is that on the horizon?
first of all.
Opening Abbey Park?
I've asked the question more than once. It comes down to gatherings with people that are not part of your immediate family, and the sports versus a play. I've brought that up to the public health director's attention on several occasions. We had a status meeting on Friday, and again, the answer was it constitutes a public gathering. So when you bring a team together, you're bringing people from different family groups onto a sports field. So Abbey Park was given to the city on the premise that baseball would be played there. Yeah, you can walk your dog there, you can have a picnic there, but you can't play baseball there. So where do you draw the line? Where do you open it up for one thing and not another? That's what's happened at the soccer fields. People are not playing soccer, but at least they're able to take their dogs there. They're able to rest when they're traveling through town. So we're doing the best we can. The playgrounds are open, and they're posted with signs for parents to help them manage their own children, like a use at their own risk. And our public restrooms are open as well. So in every way that we can, we're trying to open our facilities. So rest assured that we're trying our best.
Thank you. Don, believe me, nobody knows better than me that you're doing the best that you can. I can't even believe the last, 6 months or so that you've gone through dealing with all this stuff, for which we're very, very appreciative. So don't mistake the message here. And then lastly, Don, do you have a message to the community, to the city about Halloween?
So that's a good question, and we distributed, and Heidi Balson's San Juan Committee also distributed as many of the county's guidances as we could send out. So we did the best we could to spread the news. Trick-or-treating is not recommended and not encouraged. So Rochelle and others have put together a great pumpkin program, and this morning she told me she had over 70 kids signed up for it. So that'll be a great alternative, where the great pumpkin will come to your doorstep so that you don't have to leave the house and enter into someone else's space. So I thought that was a creative idea, and look for Rochelle for more news on that program. But we're trying to avoid gatherings of people, more than 10 people, more than 8 people, especially from people that are not in your own family group. So that's really the key right now. That's the key cause of the spread, and it looks like our county's doing a pretty darn good job right now of paying attention. So I hope we can stick to it.
I think so too.
Okay.
I think so too. But that'll seem a little bit nebulous. So see if we can make it more clear. Regardless of gatherings and so forth, Halloween is basically trick or treating. City of San Juan Bautista's official position on trick or treating is not recommended. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
But if there are trick-or-treaters, it's not, even though it's not recommended, then someone can still have a pumpkin on their porch and have little Cinderella walk up to the doorstep and give them candy safely, hopefully, without getting in trouble, right?
It's not encouraged.
So it's guidance from the county health director. That's what the city's policy is. We're not inventing policy for COVID. We're following the data and the advice from experts, and that's what the advice is. So.
Okay. So.
Yeah, but I'm trying to translate that into the people in the community who might be listening to this, county officials and all that stuff. That can become a labyrinth. Trick-or-treating is not recommended in San Juan Bautista, but if trick-or-treating takes place, notwithstanding that fact, then it's not going to result in any kind of fine or ticket or anything else. People can still do it, it's just not recommended.
Correct. I don't want to, well, yeah,
We can't.
my children will not be doing it. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, and I won't have candy, so I'm donating my candy and little toys to the project that Rochelle is doing. So my candy will be given out through Rochelle, through the city. So, okay, so.
Hey, this is Charlie from the fire department.
Hi, Charlie.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Howdy. So, in Hollister, they're doing some sort of a treat streets drive-through event where they're taking some stuff. You might want to check into that to see if that's something you can do here in San Juan Bautista. I know it's only 2 weeks away, but that might be an opportunity. Check with Tina at Parks and Rec, because they're doing some sort of drive-through treat streets event that's happening on
That's super cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Where are they doing that, Charlie?
I think they're doing it at the airport.
Okay.
Right. We don't have one airport.
Charlie, what do you think about something like that, Charlie, on the lane on 3rd Street?
You know, you would have to find
You know
out
what?
all the details. I think it would be a great idea, but you'd have to be able to do it safely and within the guidelines. And then Gina from Parks and Rec from the city has all that. So
Okay,
if there's enough
thank you.
time, we could check,
Uh,
you guys could check into it and see what exactly it entails. Maybe it could be something.
So-
I would donate some candy to the cause for San Juan.
Okay, so anyway, Councilman DeVries, I'm just to share with you, that was something that Rochelle was thinking of. And so I don't know, if I were you, I would contact Rochelle and ask her, because that was a suggestion that I had, is to have like a drive-through and give candy to the kids. And just like we do when we do the food distribution on Fridays, it would be, you know, the candy would be distributed to the children that would drive by in their costume. But I don't know if Rochelle is going to do that or not. So check with Rochelle.
I will, because that sounds awesome, because what I'm thinking of, Madam Mayor, is people coming to the town in order to take advantage of that, and then they go to dinner at Donya's or Hardeen's or something, and they spend money here.
Yeah.
Make some money on this thing, you know?
Okay.
Rochelle's
All
on the
right.
line.
We can all do it safely.
Let's design a Halloween program. Rochelle's on the line.
And see if she's talking with Tina, as Charlie said.
Right, okay.
Thanks, Charlie, and thank you, Mayor.
Okay, all right. So we're going to go on now. Do we have any public comment on the COVID update? I don't. Do you see anybody? No, you don't have your.
This is Charlie from Fire. Can I make a quick comment?
Yes.
You know, I think it's important that everybody does not get complacent and still maintain what you're supposed to be doing, keeping your safety measures and your sanitizing items in place. You know, your sanitation controls. You know, there's a couple events that are going out throughout the county that we've had to kind of step it up and say, hey, you need to tighten it up because you're not following the guidelines. You know, we got to make sure that we're not interpreting it to benefit us, but we at least following it. We keep it safe for everybody. We can't have a disregard for public safety and public health. And just don't get complacent with that stuff and continue on with the cleaning guidelines that we're supposed to be doing. That's all I had to say.
Okay, thank you, thank you, Charlie. Okay, so we're going to go on now to the water update. City manager.
So just a few quick points on the water. We spent a great deal of time on that in the month of September and October. We sent the council's October 13 water compliance selection to the EPA on the 15th as required. So now we are compliant with the EPA's order on consent. The first 4 deadlines have been met. As they expressed Tuesday night at that council meeting, they're quite happy with our selections. I have not had a formal response, just the informal response that we got at council that night. We have had a meeting last week with the San Benito Water District and a meeting scheduled for this week as well about implementing that part of the deal where San Benito would actually build a pipe to the city. So that's going to require an agreement and some negotiating between the water district and the city. And Jeff Catano, general manager, and I have already had some conversations. We have a call planned first thing in the morning tomorrow. We met with two new funding sources last week. Carl Bajarki and I, we met with the EPA to talk about WIFIA program, which is a loan program. It sounds like that could come online in time for us to break ground and could provide a lot of support to our application that was submitted September 30th to the USDA. We also had 2 meetings last week with the Water Board to talk about the Clean Water Revolving Loan Fund in support of our projects as well. And these efforts are in line with providing a funding plan to the EPA by the end of November. So we're optimistic. It sounds like we'll be eligible for these programs, but I think as the community is keenly aware at what cost. We're still working with our industrial users. We're wrapping up the findings of our most recent testing, and we'll present that to them along with these agreements that they signed back in 2000, and we'll plan a path forward for that. We've had a number of complaints about the smell and the odor of the industrial waste that's being received from earthbound farms. And so I need to bring that to their attention this week and try and put an end to that and bring it to their attention. No matter what they're doing, they cannot be sending us odorous wastewater. That's definitely prohibited in our laws, so we need to step up the enforcement there. The income survey was struggling a little bit. We got off to a good start. We got about 100 responses right off the bat, but we need help with people returning their household income surveys. We're supposed to try and get as many as 400. We're writing about 260 right now. And I've had some concerns expressed where the people making phone calls and following up were not real friendly and other things. And so I'm just thinking maybe we should go door to door to the apartments and bring a new set of forms and try and meet people on a Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon when they might be home. And especially in these multifamily projects where we're not receiving a regular water bill from them. They're not mailing stuff to City Hall every month like some of the other customers are. And so those are the hard ones to get. And we need to make sure that we get a complete count as soon as possible to help us avoid fines and finance our project. So that's where we are right now. We're working our butts off trying to find a good set of resources for us to build these projects as requested by the EPA. So.
All right. So thank you. Thank you for that report. So now we'll go on to questions. Vice Mayor Jordan, would you like to ask a question or comment?
Question, income surveys, do we have a timeline to get these in? What are we looking for at?
The goal was to make it happen as soon as possible. So we were trying to do a lot of press and Facebook and other outreach and take advantage of the water bill that went out with the notice inside them and trying to use that PR momentum to get things to happen as soon as fast. But I do not have a deadline from the water board.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay, and just one comment. I want to thank you as our city manager and all of the consultants that have been working on this, the city council, the entire city council, and the public for all of the input and all of the work that went on to having San Juan Bautista having a reliable source of water in both quality and quantity, and getting out from under the Regional Water Quality Control Board's fines that we have been being assessed for what seems to be like forever. But this was a huge undertaking and albeit forced. But we all came together as a community to make this happen, and I think regionalization is going to be a great thing, although as an operator it would have been really cool to see 2 brand new treatment plants, but regionalization, wow, an amazing job. Thank you, I appreciate all that the council has done, that you, Don, have done, and our consultants. And the community as well. Amazing. Thank you all.
Thank you, Leslie. Councilman Flores, do you have any comments or questions? You're muted. Oh, no. I think he shook his head no. Okay. Councilman Freeman, do you have any questions or comments?
Well, I just have a few comments to follow up on Councilman Jordan's comments. I'd like to thank Don especially and the team, Carl and the Stantec people and Tony Akel for really putting this together in a rather rapid period of time because we do have a gun to our head in terms of the State Water Board and EPA pressing fines on us. So I think they did a really good job, and thank you to them.
Thank you. Councilman Flores, did you change your mind? Did you want to say something?
No comment.
Okay. Councilman DeVries.
Good job, John.
Councilman DeVries.
Sorry.
Yes, I thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo the sentiments expressed by Councilmember Jordan. seemed like a Herculean task for Don Reynolds and company to get this thing across the finish line. I'm sure that when when Don was interviewing for this job, and he was told that water was an issue, he didn't probably envision that it was the issue that he came to find out it would be. And he's gotten us here. And even though I voted no on the proposal, I want to be clear about a couple things. First, that's just out of personal sentiment, that I wanted San Juan Bautista to remain independent and stand on its own 2 feet. And secondly, that I'm worried about it inducing growth. I continue in both of those feelings, but I am also thankful to our great city manager, Don Reynolds, that he's taking great strides to protect our town from this unbridled urban sprawl growth that could otherwise occur. So I'm on board, and I'm very thankful, Don, for your efforts.
Okay, thank you. So I'd like to just echo what Vice Mayor Jordan said. Thank you so much for all your hard work, and I know it's not been easy for you. And I want to thank everybody, all the team members, John Freeman, Leslie, Jeff, I can't remember all the people's names of the team, but everyone has done a very good job. And I will have to say that I feel like we are really, even though we're right in the middle of this pandemic, we are doing really well, and it's because of you. So thank you so very much.
That's what you hired me for. Okay.
So now we're going to, November 3rd. November 3rd, election, write-in period for city clerk and city treasurer ended today. So, did I hear that we have somebody that applied for city clerk?
Were you going to report her?
Yes.
I vote.
Hold on.
I vote for Sean.
Hold on.
I vote for Shauna Frills. Wait, was that too soon?
Yeah, hold on. Thank you.
So Deputy City Clerk Pates contacted me at about 2:30 this
Can you
afternoon.
mute them? I couldn't hear what you were saying.
I've muted them several times, and they unmute themselves. Go ahead, Laura.
So Deputy City Clerk Pates contacted me about 2:30 and said that there were no write-ins for council or for treasurer, but Shauna Friels has qualified as a write-in candidate for city clerk.
Okay, good. And
So I'm sure it'll be posted up on the county election website. And then at the polling places, there will be a notice posted there where people pick up their ballots, and it'll show that there is a qualified write-in candidate
okay, good.
for that position.
Okay. And how about our treasurer?
No, there is nobody submitted any forms.
Okay.
So right now, there's nobody that has qualified as a write-in candidate. And there's nobody on the ballot, nobody qualified during the nomination period.
Okay. Well, it's my understanding that Chuck Fiber, our treasurer, is interested in picking it up again. He's retired now, and he would like to be considered.
The write-in period closed at 5 o'clock today.
Okay.
I mean, he was.
So no way to, you have to be qualified, you have to do all the steps in order for somebody, if someone writes that person's name in, for it to count, for the county to count that, they have to have already qualified. That means they filled out all the forms.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what you'll be able, the council, what you'll be able to do. I think you should speak with City Attorney Mall and find out. I know in the past, when they've had to fill the city clerk position, the council accepted applications and they appointed somebody as I think, she wasn't elected, she was appointed for a certain length of time to actually only serve 2 years of the term. And then the resolution was written that that seat had to come up in the middle of the term as a regular seat on the ballot
Okay.
to finish that 4-year term.
Okay, so Deb, can you help us here with the treasurer?
So I'll look into it and report back to you at the next meeting on
Okay,
your options for filling the treasurer position.
okay, all right, thank you. All right, so if we have Shauna who has applied, do we vote on her or do we?
She's
wait
on the
until
ballot
she's
for
on
the November
ballot?
3rd,
And
right?
okay,
So if she gets one vote, she wins.
Okay, all right, so we don't.
I have a
take
feeling
action.
Mr. Fields will vote for her,
So
but
we
I'm
don't
just,
take action right now.
no.
She'll
We
get
don't,
two.
that's
All
not
right.
up to us. It's
Okay,
up to
good.
the,
Okay, all right, okay, thank you. Okay, so now we go on to item 8, comments. So Vice Mayor Jordan, do you have any comments?
I do not.
Okay. Councilman Flores, do you have any comments? Final comments? No? Okay. Councilman DeVries, do you have any final comments?
No final comments.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Freeman, do you have any final comments? Did he go to sleep?
I think you let.
Okay. Okay, so city manager, final comments.
No, I just wanted to apologize for the microphone. We'll work on making that better. It's been very frustrating trying to manage the meeting tonight because of sound. So I hope you can at least hear my apology at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, thank you. And our city attorney, Deborah
You know
Mall.
what?
I have nothing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, okay, so well, we'll adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Second.
Wait till the red light goes off.